Hey guys, it's Katy at scrappinkaty.ctmh.com, and I am bringing you day 10 of the COAPA Cutfiles 20 Days of Christmas. Now, Virginia does have summer prompts and some cut files that you can use for those, but I will be playing along with the Christmas prompts for this 20 days. Okay, so for day 10, the prompt is white background, and I chose the COAPA Cutfile Snow Angel. So you'll see here that you get an outline of an angel, you get kind of an inside part, but I'm going to be, for this project, I'm going to be using this one. And all I did was just slice that on my design space out of a 6x8 rectangle. And then I can save these for another project. Okay, so I am going to, if you can't already tell, I'm going to create a shaker. And so this is just the base page. I'm going to set it aside. And then I am going to use the, that little slate look cute. I'm going to use a couple of these snowflakes from this stamp set. Super cute. And I'm going to just random stamp that to make it easier to do that. I'm going to just put them down on my table and pick them up with one of my blocks. So this little bitty one I'm probably going to have to add later. And I'm trying to keep it as all white as possible. So I'm going to use a very, very light gray color. And I'm going to be using linen. Now, you're probably not going to be able to tell a whole lot that it's even stamped, but I think it'll just be subtle enough that I can tell in my album. And I don't want it covered, and then if you're not familiar with random stamping, I just kind of twist the stamp ever so slightly before I put it down in its next place. And that way you don't have all the large stamps together, you don't have all the small, they're not all facing the same direction. So I'm almost done with this, and then I'll pick it up and I'll show you how subtle it is. But I do think that it is cute. So you can see I got something on there, but my photo is going to cover that up. So again, very subtle. And then for the actual insides of the shaker, I have pulled our silver sequins, these silver confetti stars, and then these loose gems. So I'm hoping by a combination of all three of those, I'll have a real pretty shaker. So before I do that, again, keeping in with the white background, I am taking my white gloss spray and I'm going to just do white splatters all over the front of this one. Again, I'm not doing anything to the base because you really can't see that. Have you ever tried this white on a dark cardstock? It's absolutely gorgeous. Our Harbor cardstock, black, craft, anything. It's just so pretty. Okay, so I'm liking that. I think there's enough. Let's see if I can drop one right there, and then maybe drop one right there. Okay, I think that's enough, and that should dry fairly quickly. Okay, so while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and prepare the shaker portion of this layout. And I just added a small tick mark because there's really no reason for all the sequins. I don't want them to go to the bottom of the layout just because I think they'll get lost. You know, layouts aren't like cards where you're going to shake them a whole lot. But they are fun to do. So I am just going to add the 3D foam tape around the perimeter of this base. And as you can see, the width of this is pretty narrow. It's just over 1/4 of an inch. It actually says 1/4 of an inch, but it's a little bit wider. And then I've just added a pencil mark right here. And so I want to add another 3D foam tape piece right here. And that way all this bottom part is not wasted space. So we've done that. And then I am going to start adding the sequins. Now, there is something that I prefer to do, and that's actually adhere some sequins to the actual base. And that way you have some that are they never move. And I really like that look. So I'm just going to take some of these white sequins and just add them to these micro glue dots. And then we can adhere them down. Well, that one actually stuck. So I'm going to get that done off camera. No need in you watching that. Okay, and while I only used white to actually glue down, I'm not going to go through these and actually only pick out the white ones. I feel like silver is close enough to white. And then also there's some iridescent ones, so that's what looks blue in there. So I'm going to add some of that. I'm going to add some of this. That 3D foam tape is not really dimensional. So I don't want a whole lot of bulk in here. And I definitely want to kind of spread it out, make sure none of those are on top of each other. So when I go to put in, or on top that top layer, they don't get stuck. So I'm just going to thin these out just a little bit, separate those that are on top of each other, try to turn them over. I don't know about you, but sequins always like to be upside down in my house. I don't know what that's all about. Okay, so I think we're good with that. This just requires a little more drying, so I'm going to let that dry some more. And then we can get that put on and then finish this layout. Okay, I think it's dry enough that we can attempt to go ahead and take this off. You want to be careful when peeling it off so it doesn't kind of shake the base. And depending on if your 3D foam tape is really sticky, which mine is, when you shake it, some of those sequins pop up and they've already got some static to them. Sometimes they pop on the adhesive. I did not use an anti-static pouch simply because there's such a big space for them to stay. I didn't feel that it was necessary. So this is just a memory protector, a 12 by 12 memory protector that I cut down, and I am going to adhere it to this 3D foam tape. Just make sure it's really pressed down, and that is what will create the shaker. And then on the back of here, we will add adhesive and we can get that adhered down. And for this, I like to use tear tape. It's really strong and I just feel like it adheres to, it adheres to the memory protectors a whole lot better than like regular liquid adhesive or even regular tape adhesive. And now we can just lay this directly on top. There's not a whole lot of wiggle room, so you want to make sure that it's lined up pretty well. For the most part, it's dry. I don't think that that big one is dry. So you can see that white gloss spray, and then of course the random stamping, and then I want to actually glue down these pieces, so I am going to use liquid adhesive for that. Okay, so I have that, and then I've pulled these 2 photos, and I need to cover up those little marks or whatever, so I think I'm going to have these down here, but it's still just a little bit too bland for me, so I pulled out a sticker sheet, and then this pattern paper that I'm thinking I might cut some things from, just not sure. So, I don't know, maybe that little gray house, I'm not sure. I could also use these stickers, and then I'm going to pull in a thread jumble as well. So let's deal with the thread jumble first. So I just have some thread for my stash. And this is silver. I just felt like it would kind of add just a little something to the layout so it won't be as stark. And then I just jumble it up, no rhyme or reason, and then I can put it behind these photos. And then I want snowflake kisses, and I think I want it right down here. So I'm going to go ahead. This is unheard of for me, is to go ahead and set something down. But I'm pretty sure that's what's going to be there. And then there are some stickers here and there that I'm just going to add. And I think that that's it. And then let's decide on this thread jumble. Kind of want to separate it, I think. Make it a little bigger. The easiest thing for me to do is apply like tape adhesive on here and then stick it down. And then I add a little bit more adhesive just to reinforce it. So that will be that one. And then we can do the same for this little jumble up here. So this one was going to be catty corner. And then this one was going to have tape adhesive or 3D foam tape. Okay. So we have that. I can already tell that these kind of need to come out more. And sometimes I like to just take these and, especially if you're using foam tape, you can kind of stick them under the foam tape and manipulate it. So one thing I do want to do is I want to get that pink somewhere else. So I think I'm going to put a heart right there. And even though it's not a true triangle, I feel like that red is kind of a triangle. And I think for the most part, it's not what I intended, but for the most part, I think it'll work. So there is my project for the white background. Again, I'll leave links down below to all the people playing along with this COAPA 20 Days of Cutfiles, as well as any links to the products that I used. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. If you liked what you saw, I would love for you to leave a comment and a thumbs up. And if you aren't already a subscriber, hit the subscribe button and sign up for notifications so you won't miss another crafty video.